This next news story comes to us from Game Rant, written by Dominic Bosniak. I'm going to say there's some weird little symbols and doohickeys going on in his name, so I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, but I did my best. New Knights of the Old Republic remake rumor may be good news for Xbox fans. So kind of to catch you up to speed here. Earlier last week, there was someone from Saber Interactive came out and was like, hey, KOTOR is alive and well. Because if you didn't catch the news before that, Saber Interactive...
Is that those guys that botched Battlefront?
Saber, I don't think, worked on Battlefront, right?
Who was it? Oh, it was Aspire.
Well, Aspire is a sub-studio under Saber, I think. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those guys that botched Battlefront.
But they recently just bought themselves out from, or they got bought out from, what's the big group that we all hate? Embracer, yeah. So they were under Embracer until just like a week or so ago. They finally just got bought, like, they're gone. They're not under Embracer anymore. And so that's why the news came out. They could finally, because under Embracer is just kind of getting like, nope, don't talk about it, And finally they're free now. And they're like, it's alive and well. We're still working on it, which is interesting. You think, because I think we speculated when that got announced. I want to say we talked about it on the show, and we even said like, oh, any projects that they had with Disney is probably dead. Like there's probably little chance. And then here it is. Like apparently it's not. Disney's still trusting them, even though they're not with Embracer anymore, which is surprising.
I don't know, man. Trusting them is a big word, bro. Like trusting them after how badly this Battlefront port came out. Like, am I really trusting you with a KOTOR remake? KOTOR, one of the best Star Wars games ever.
Well,
I don't know.
Again, like
if I'm Disney, I'm looking at you weird, man. I'm looking at you weird, bro.
Battlefront, though, that was specifically what was it called? Why can't I remember the name of the? We just said it. What was the studio that did the Battlefront? Aspire. I think
they're also heading up KOTOR.
I think it's still kind of separate though. I don't know, because like I just brought up a list of Saber Interactive games on Wikipedia, and like they don't have Star Wars Battlefront listed even on here. They have like the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine games announced. They got Kingdom Come Deliverance. They got Gloomhaven. Really not the Evil Dead the game.
Right. Well, because those are Aspire. The Battlefront ones are Aspire, right?
Right.
So they wouldn't be on the Saber page. They'd be on the Aspire page.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I think they're separate teams. Like they're connected, but they're separate development teams.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you, because I thought you said that Saber was over Aspire, which means that they are still responsible.
Let me see. Aspire Studio. Let me just fact check this.
It's just like how when you're the CEO of the company, you may not have anything going on in the mailroom, but you're still responsible for it. You know, type of deal, type beat.
Okay, so Aspire was acquired by Embracer Group in February of 2021. Right. And placed within Saber Interactive until its divestment in March of 2024. So when Saber just left, Aspire is still part of it. So Aspire didn't go with Saber.
Oh, okay.
So they are placed under them until, or in their group or whatever you want to call it. But now that Saber left, Saber's just Saber and Aspire stayed with Embracer. So they're the same but different, and mostly different. But like Saber worked on like Halo 4, Halo 3 ODST, back in the day, the Crysis Remastered, Crysis 3, all those. Like they've done a lot. Halo 3, all the remasters for Halo 3 and Halo 2 Anniversary. So they've done some decent stuff here and there. They're usually like a help studio, it seems like. Like they helped on like NBA Playgrounds and Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn.
What a track record.
What a track record. Anyways, let's get to this article. The Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake may end up being a day one release on Xbox consoles. That possibly has been suggested by newly emerged rumor from a reputable with quotations, let's say. Industry insider who offered some new insights into Sony's current views on the KOTOR reimagining project. Blah, 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 blah. Let's scroll on to where the actual news story is here.
I was going to say, let's get into the meat.
Several reports of the project being dead have emerged throughout 2023. Additionally, industry insider Jeff Grubb has repeatedly predicted that the game would never come out. But now that Embracer has sold Saber, the latter promptly assured fans that Star Wars KOTOR Remake is still happening, describing it as alive and well. Grubb subsequently took to Twitter to clarify that his sources who suggested the opposite were all from the Sony side of things. Elaborating on that point, the insider said he understands Sony wants nothing to do with KOTOR Remake any longer, which is why he assumed that the game was already dead. So Grubb comes out a few months ago and says, "Hey, KOTOR's dead." Didn't cite any sources, and now this KOTOR's alive and well. He's backtracking a little bit, but kind of like, "Oh, well, my sources were Sony, and they sound like it's dead to them," kind of thing. Because originally it was supposed to be a PS5 timed exclusive. That was the whole thing. PS5 exclusive. So, yeah, Grubb's comments hence imply that Sony has dropped out of the project and will not be publishing it, which ostensibly means its timed PlayStation exclusivity is out of the picture as well. This turn of events doesn't necessarily guarantee that the game is now meant to be a day one multi-platform release, not least because each additional port raises the project's resource requirements, but it does make such scenario possible, thus potentially being good news for Xbox fans. So there's no hard, solid, fast, facts that this could be an Xbox exclusive, but having some fun little speculation here. What if they come and snag this up? Like, all right, Saber's free now from the clutches of Embracer Group. The original Knights of the Old Republic was a Xbox exclusive. Like, man, what if they come back and get the remake here, Xbox, at least timed exclusive? Do you think
it's good optics, right? It's good optics because, like you said, oh man, when you think Knights of the Old Republic, you think Xbox because that's what everybody associates the original game with. So to come back, all these years later and be like, yo, Knights of the Old Republic is back with Xbox, just like the good old days.
Yeah.
But the issue that I have with this, if I'm anybody else but Sony, is the fact that Sony walked away from it, right? They saw something with this development that was so troubling that they washed their hands. I don't want anything to do with it, and dropped it. And the game went dormant for a long time too because of development issues. So that makes me wary of what exactly is going on with this project, that for some reason this team or this company or whoever, they can't all get on the same page and make something happen. So that's what makes me kind of cautious if I'm Phil, looking at this potential pickup here, because it could burn me like it burned Sony.
I wonder, this is pure speculation because I don't have any insider knowledge. I am not an industry insider like Jeff Grubb is. Surprise. But Aspire, when Embracer picked them up, they grouped them with Saber Interactive. So I assume there was times where there's a little crossover. They'd help each other out on each of the projects. And the rumor before, when everyone thought it was canceled, the rumor was, there was issues where like previews were seen by the higher ups, the suits, and they weren't happy, so it got shut down. What if, though, obviously a lot of the rumors and things and leaks that we hear, it's all extremely vague because people don't want to get outed, they don't want to get in trouble or get someone else in trouble. What if the previews they were seeing weren't even for Knights of the Old Republic? Maybe it was like this joint thing where they went in like, hey, Saber / Aspire Group, show me what you got. And what they were actually ticked off about was Battlefront, and they still continued to launch it anyways. And and maybe KOTOR is great, or maybe there could have been issues too with like story wise or whatever. But like I don't know. What if there's a chance?
But Sony's not pulling out over a bad Battlefront.
Or what if there's chances where they just like they weren't just or maybe they weren't happy with some of the work, and what if the bad work was stuff that Aspire was doing? Like maybe the stuff that Saber was doing was good, but the stuff like the projects, and so now that Saber's out, maybe they've just completely like
bad enough to put it on indefinite hiatus like that though.
Yeah, I mean, and now that Saber's out, they can just like go control, go to the control panel, search for all the files that Aspire worked on, hit delete to start over. It's like Control A, delete.
Well, if that's the case, then this is a PS6 game now. There's no way it's making it.
It's
before.
not a PlayStation game. It's an Xbox Series.
Well, I'm just saying it's a next gen game. It's a next gen game at this point.
I don't know. I just wonder if it was like they weren't happy. Like what the things they weren't happy about was more specifically like Aspire's work or something. Because looking at
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because looking at Saber's track record, they don't make like 10 out of 10 bangers, but they don't make trash either. So
right. Aspire, the same cannot be said for, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. What are I'm trying to think?
Given their recent track record.
Yeah, what are some of the games that Aspire's made? Because I thought they were known for good stuff, but then like with the new stuff. So apparently, so they put out Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, which was bad, but literally the same year, like 2024, they put out the Tomb Raider 1-3 remaster, and that was actually, from what I heard, really good.
That's remastering though. That's not making the game. I mean, I guess Aspire isn't.
I mean, that's what they did with the Battlefront. Was supposed to be a remaster, and they botched that. But then
they
Tomb Raider, they killed it.
But Tomb Raider was already there, and they just like KOTOR is a different beast, right? You're not just up-resing the original game like you are.
And that's what I'm saying. I wonder if like the bad stuff that was turned PlayStation off was Aspire's work. And not so much like the actual direction of the game, but more like maybe they saw some stuff like, wow, this is looking like not good. Like, what is going on? Because I'm just looking at Aspire's track record. They did like the Nintendo Switch port. They mostly do ports and remasters. So like all the Star Wars ports and remasters they've worked on. So Force Unleashed, Republic Commando.
Oh, did they work on I was getting ready to say Republic Commando,
which sucks. That was broken on Switch.
Right.
They did the Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2 ports for Switch. They did the pod racing. They've done all Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, all that stuff. Like doesn't look like they really do original games from what I can even see. They did the Mac port for Borderlands Handsome Collection. They're just a port. They're a port studio. Aspire is.
So we're trusting this studio to remake KOTOR from the ground up?
They were originally when it was Aspire/Saber, but now that Saber's out, Saber's taken it.
I'd rather just have Saber do it, yeah.
Well, that's it. That's what's happening now. Now that Saber's out, Saber's taken over. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
so essentially the game is restarting, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it sounds like the game's restarting in better hands. And Jeff, I guess with all that to say, to answer the question, this could be a good news for Xbox, but it could also be a flag, or not a flag, a signal to PlayStation to be like, hey, come check us out again. Now that we're split off and working on our own and doing our own thing, we're not under the oppressive Embracer group and working with a barely competent studio, Aspire. Like it could very well continue to be a PlayStation exclusive if they can, over the next 6 months to a year, show that like, hey, we know what we're doing. Like Saber,
I feel
we
like
know what we're doing.
The damage is done. I think the bridge is already burned with Sony.
Yeah.
Because if Sony goes back and says, actually, we're gonna, it's not a good look for them to go running back and be like, actually, we are gonna put this out again.
Well, Sony has never officially said anything though. Sony never said they officially backed out. That's all insider information from Jeff Grubb. So,
it is, but they also took the trailer down and the game went on, hold and all this different kind of stuff that they basically were saying it without saying it, without having to formally say it. So
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But again, that man, all we got was that 10-second teaser, and I was like, I'm in.
And it wasn't even gameplay. It was just a cinematic pre-rendered cutscene.
Yeah, like a lightsaber lighting up in this foggy, moist room.
This game ain't coming out for some time. If it comes out,
we'll see. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.